Jy's ingeskakel op GROOTplaas en ons gas saam met ons vanoggend Carlo Smits. Hy's die bemarkingsbestuurder hierso by Design Biologics. Carlo, hoe gaan dit met jou?
Goed en jy, dankie Toepie, dankie dat ons weer by jou kan wees.
Carlo, so verduidelik vir ons bietjie meer, wie is Design Biologics en wat presies is dit wat julle doen?
Design Biologics is 'n trots Suid-Afrikaanse enstofmaatskappy. Ons vervaardig al van 1995 trots Suid-Afrikaanse enstowwe vir die lokale mark as ook globaal.
Kan jy dalk vir ons bietjie uitbrei oor die verskillende enstowwe wat julle vervaardig?
Toepie, ons doen 'n wye reeks enstowwe vir die lokale mark as ook globale mark. Ons doen virus en bakterieële enstowwe hoofsaaklik vir beeste, skape en bokke, as ook so 'n bietjie autogeniese enstowwe. Rondom die beeskaap en bok enstowwe het ons 'n wye reeks van Clostridioides wat jou clostridiale enstowwe is, regdeur tot Boviepox wat die bekende knopvel siekte is. 3-dae stywe siekte doen ons op die beeste, op die skape doen ons bloednier, clostridiale ook op die skape, as ook die bokke, en dan ja, groot long enstowwe wat ons ontwikkel het vir Suid-Afrikaners vir ons mark.
So winter is nou hier. Is daar seisonale enstowwe en siektes om na te kyk en wat sê jy voorstel?
Ja, definitief die winter, die diere word baie meer onder stres nou geplaas met hierdie koue wat kom. So ja, ons het 'n baie lekker inspuitbare mikromineraal genaamd Mikromin B. En dis 'n lekker enstof om te ent. Hy gaan sit in die dier en so gebruik die dier hierdie mikrominerale net wanneer hy dit nodig het om die dier basies deur die moeilike tye te dra. En hy vul so lekker aan saam met 'n lek en saam met goeie voer. En ja, ons beveel dit sterk aan dat die boere ons mikromin ent. Dit het lekker sink, selenium en magaan in. So dis 'n produk wat jou dier se immuniteitstelsel op die einde van die dag net versterk.
Nou, sou daar boere of ewen veeartse wees wat plaasspesifieke uitdagings het, kan hulle in kontak kom met julle?
Ja, asseblief. Die veeartse en die boere is een van ons grootste punte wat ons nodig het om enstowwe te ontwikkel. Hulle moet asseblief uitreik na ons toe. Ons doen baie autogeniese enstowwe, E. coli enstowwe, vibrio enstowwe regdeur. En ja, die boere en die veeartse help ons tog om die regte produkte te ontwikkel en ons wil weet en terugvoering uit die veld uit hê oor wat gebeur aan, wat gaan aan op die plase. Jy weet, wat se siektes sien hulle kom voor dat hulle nie enstof voor het nie. En ja, ons wil graag dan help om daai enstowwe te ontwikkel en dan op die mark te kry vir ons boere in ons land.
Wat is van die mees algemeenste probleme wat julle sien op plase wanneer dit kom by enstowwe spesifiek?
Eers Toepie, die ouens moet onthou, 'n geïnaktiveerde enstof, 'n dooie enstof soos dit ons hom in Afrikaans noem, moet altyd 2 keer geënt word. 'n Lewendige enstof, dis die ene met die koekie en die botteltjie wat jy saammeng, hy word net 1 keer geënt, maar dit is so belangrik om daai skraagdosis te gee na jou eerste enting 4 tot 6 weke later.
So Carlo, sê vir ons bietjie, waar kan mense julle enstowwe in die hande kry en hoe kan hulle kontak maak met julle?
Ons is in elke koöperasie in die land, ons kodes is oop in al die koöperasies en dan as ook by ons veeartse. By jou naaste veearts kan jy ons enstowwe kry en ja, ons is landwyd beskikbaar. Julle is welkom om ons ook te kontak, direk by ons te kry. Ons sê altyd, gaan maar deur jou kundige mense en so kry jy jou enstowwe by hulle.
Carlo, so baie dankie vir jou tyd. Ons waardeer dit. Dis Carlo Smits. Hy is natuurlik die bemarkingsbestuurder by Design Biologics. Julle kan hulle gerus kontak deur hulle webtuiste. Dis designbio.co.za. Ons is nou weer terug op GROOTplaas net hierna.
Design Biologics, the best solutions from snout to tail.
ingeskakel op GROOTplaas vanoggend en ons gas saam met ons vanoggend Dr. Sara Padidar. Sy is van die Departement van Biochemie, Genetika en Mikrobiologie aan die Universiteit van Pretoria om te praat oor iets wat ek nie weet hoe ek oor dit voel nie. Beter verhouding met slange. Doctor, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, snake bites are often seen purely as a medical issue. Why do you believe that they should be viewed more of an agricultural, environmental and economic challenge?
Because snakes are part of our ecosystem. They have a very clear, a purpose. And snakes, when humans interact badly with snakes, that's when we have that bite. Whereas snakes will bite domestic animals and they will be out in the ecosystem eating slugs, eating termites. And so it's not just that human perspective. If we just look at it from that public health perspective, we miss out on the benefits as well as the other aspects of snakes and how to prevent snake bite.
So the research highlights the importance that roles now that snakes play in our ecosystem. What do you think are the biggest misperceptions that people might have about snakes?
The biggest misconception is that they're all the same. We've got over 170, 180 species of snakes here in South Africa. Only 16 of those species are going to be threatening to your life and your limb. So you've got less than 1 in 10 snakes that are problematic for humans and for livestock. Yet all snakes are terrible. A good snake is a dead snake is often what I hear. And so that's one of the big misconceptions, that it's just every snake is the same and every snake is venomous, whereas many don't even have venom. They don't have fangs, they don't have the ability to produce venom.
Do you think proper education is something that people need to look at so they can properly identify what kind of snakes are in their vicinity?
100%. We in Eswatini, where I do a lot of my field work, and that's where I moved from, we reached 0 deaths in humans from snake bite, and that was from the community education that we did with the local community. We trained community snake rescue volunteers that went out and removed problematic snakes from people's homes and homesteads, but at the same time provided that education to both the community, the local schools, and other community structures. And we saw a big drop in both our snake bite cases that were coming, or rather our very severe snake bite cases that were coming to the hospital, as well as the fatalities. We went down to 0 deaths, and it's been 23 months now since we had a death from snake bite in Eswatini.
Now, Doctor, your team describes snakes as farmers' friends. I don't know how many farmers will feel that way.
Yeah.
But how do snakes actually benefit farmers and agricultural production?
So if we look at crop farming, we've got snakes that will eat slugs. Now, I'm sure your listeners will call in and say, well, ducks will eat more slugs than a snake will. You've also got rodents that will eat those crops. You've got rodents that will be feeding on the feeds of livestock animals. So you've got these snakes can be a form of pest control. You've got pest rodents that will decimate the crops, whether they're in the seedling stage, whether they're in the growth stage, or whether they're being stored. So in Eswatini, we have a lot of our small-scale farmers that will store their maize in a maize crib. And if you get rodents in there, then you're going to lose a lot of that maize. But also you've got the rodents that will carry disease. And therefore, a snake will be very useful in that environment to be able to keep that rodent population down. Along with other animals, they're not the only animal that will eat rodent. We've got mongoose, we've got genets, we've got owls, all these sort of taboo animals that farmers don't necessarily like. So they
all
are part of...
farmers like owls, by the way.
It depends on the farmers that you speak to.
Yeah.
We've got a barn owls PhD student that's working on barn owls, and she's had she's had to spend a lot of time with the community to sort of explain why she's bringing the barn owls to the community. I mean, they're finding the barn owls are finding the community themselves, but she's putting up artificial nest boxes. So it's taken a little bit of time to convince them that it's not going to bring problems down the road.
Now, the World Health Organization estimates that someone dies from a snake bite roughly every 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Why is snake bite still considered such a neglected public health issue?
if you look at who's getting bitten, it's not the likes of me sitting in my office at UP. It's the farmer that doesn't have the financial resources to be able to, typically, to be able to deal with that snake bite. And then what happens is that the industry, the pharmaceutical industry, sees it that there's very little demand. But if you look at the cost of antivenom, it's about $100 a vial. And if you need about 10 vials, 20 vials to be able to treat a snake bite, that's a lot of money that the average individual that gets bitten isn't going to have access to. In Eswatini, again, about 40% of our patients that were coming to the health facilities, our hospitals and health centres alone, were children. And then the other big group was those that were unemployed. That's not going to be a population that's going to have the resources to be able to treat snake bite. So it is a neglected tropical disease by virtue of who's getting bitten. And as I sort of joke, but semi-seriously, it's not a first world problem. So it maintains or remains to be a neglected disease.
So you referenced that you might not be prone to a snake bite in your office at UP, but the interesting statistic says that a lot of these venomous snakes are actually infiltrating built-up areas. One of the interesting things that I heard the other day is, I didn't know we had the boomslang in Pretoria, and apparently we do. I thought that was native to tropical areas like KwaZulu-Natal.
No. So in the high veld of Eswatini, we've got, it's one of our very commonly caught snakes, the boomslang, and in the built-up areas like in Mbaba and in the capital city. So it's very, very likely to be found here in Pretoria. It's a arboreal snake, so it will be hanging out in the trees. So yeah, it's the habitat is ideal for it here in Pretoria. There's no reason for it not to be around. But it's a very docile snake. You've really got to piss it off for it to bite you.
So one fascinating question that your team is investigating is whether the diet of captive snakes could actually influence the effectiveness of the antivenom. Why do you think this is so important?
So we make antivenom using captive snakes. And then what happens is we take that venom and we inject it into a horse, and the horse will produce antibodies. But if those proteins are not the same as what a wild snake would be, which is the snake that which you would normally get bitten by, then the question is that would it be effective when you inject that antivenom into the patient? Now, we're not seeing that difference at the moment. We're seeing our antivenoms being very effective. But what we have seen, and this is anecdotal evidence, is that in the snake venom farms, there's people that have been handling, let's say, a green mamba, a neurotoxic snake, but after the bite, when we've looked at it clinically, it's looked like a cytotoxic bite. And that's because the diet of these snakes in captivity are very different to what we see in the wild. And my doctoral studies was looking at how your environment influences your health and how your diet influences your health, and that was in humans. So it seemed natural to sort of see, well, does that have an impact on the snake? We don't know yet. There is just one study that has looked at it from Brazil, and that was with one snake. So we're looking at it with a variety of snakes, with both the black mamba, the snouted cobra, and the Mozambique spitting cobra, to see does the diet change as we give it a more captive diet, which is usually dead rat after dead rat after dead rat.
So if there's one message you would like to leave the farmers and the viewers with, quick, in 10 seconds or less, what would that be?
That they need to get to know their snakes. Not every snake is the same, and there is a beautiful variety of snakes that we have here in South Africa, and many of them can really help them. So please get to know them and reach out to some of the snake rescue organisations to get trained.
Doctor, thank you so much for your time this morning. Dis Dr. Sara Padidar. Sy is van die Universiteit van Pretoria se Departement van Biochemie, Genetika en Mikrobiologie. Dis alwaar vir ons tyd het vir Grootplaas vir vandag. Ons hoop jy het dit saam met ons geniet en dan kyk ons weer môre.